All right, well, today is going to be less production and more fixing a few things. So this corner on this deck here, because some of this wood is, it's really hard to find straight 24-foot 2x10s, especially treated ones, because they inject the water, make them all squirrely. So this corner's kind of sagging down, and I thought maybe some of that needed to be beat flat, but I missed and punched a big hole in the deck. So first thing we're gonna do is finish the last sheet of plywood. We were short because we made the cabin a little wider than we intended, and the 2-foot rips we had here weren't big enough. We're gonna patch in the floor here where I punched a hole through it. We're gonna get the sheeting finished, sheet these decks, and then we're gonna address this sag, see if we can come up with a good solution. All right, well, we got the whole floor shot off, finished that last sheet, patched this hole here. Let's get some deck flashing in and put these deck boards on before Gavin screws something else up. So we're gonna put this deck ledger in here, and these are the only janky snips that we could come up with, because I have many employees, and in roofing, siding, and gutters use snips. So I think with good intention, show up at my house, grab a set of snips out of my toolbox, and they disappear and never come back. So I have to put out a public APB for whoever has my good snips. Please bring them back. They have a habit of just showing up. This will maybe make a little more sense why we did this corner treated. This is going to be a deck. This will be outside. So we've got our little step up to the deck height of the house or of the cabin. We need to put some kind of flashing in here. The decking will go over it. We might put a piece of flat coil in here later once this is sided, side down over it, but we need something to keep the water from running back in to the cabin. All right, so this is the first deck done. This is all leftover treated lumber from the other cabins in Kentucky. So we're kind of trying to dodge around knots and cracks and things like that. But these decks are little, so we were able to cut most of it out. So we'll finish this other one. We'll get the deck boards on the back here, and then we're gonna address our Noah's Ark curve in the back there. See if we can't get her straightened out. Ready? All right, well, we're decked. So Gavin's got a few more screws to put in. We're gonna address this hook in the bottom, but first, we're gonna go get some lunch. All right, well, we're back from lunch. Gavin got most of the deck screwed off, but we ran out of screws. So one of the problems we're having is that corner over there is about 1 inch lower than this one. We're pretty flat this way, most of it is, and it's just the curvature of this big lumber. So I bought 4 of these I-beams, so we have 1 extra. Part of the advantage to doing this here in the shop is that we get to mess around with this spacing because this is not its permanent home, obviously. So these are not overspan here. We have no bouncing issues, but I think this cantilever, it's not even bouncing. It could use a little more support. So I'm gonna put 1 beam under the end here, jack it up level, and we'll see in time with a house built on this, it will probably come back to perfectly flat. And then we'll do some different spacing at its permanent home in Kentucky. I think we'll take advantage of the opportunity to get it right. Well, so we got the beam in here, and you know, the problem we've had through the whole time is that the floor kind of pitches like this to the floor drain, which is pretty much right under that corner. So now that we have this other beam in here, we lift it up and got the blocks under it, and it's sitting low from the floor beam. And you can see, I mean, that cantilever is doing its job, but we've got 1 inch or so underneath there. So, boy, that is pretty good right now. If anything, this end needs to come up a little. So I think we're gonna shim under this end until it's perfect. And then we'll just bring that end up till it touches. A couple shims under there, we should be good to go. All right, so this side doesn't need very much. Wouldn't recommend sticking your fingers in here like this, but we're gonna put a little shim in there. Go ahead and let it down, Gavin. That is pretty good. I'm gonna say I'm happy with that. Pretty level there. So we're gonna just jack this other side up till it matches, slide a few shims under there, and then hopefully this thing will like its new home and stay there. One more. All right, try letting her down. I think that's pretty good. How's it look on the level?
Pretty good.
Decent. Well, I think that's about it. That really flattened things out here, this big hook. I don't know if you guys can even see it on camera, but it is all but gone, so that's great. That makes me feel better. I think when we do get it in its permanent home, I don't really know how to explain this, but on our other cabin, it's up on stilts. And when you slam the door, the washing machine gets real violent. You could feel the whole house shaking around a lot, which, you know, we've stayed on a lot of places like on the coast that are built up on stilts, and they're all kind of like that. It's not a big deal. But I think for this one, we'll put the beams back there like we have because it's going to kind of hang out over the side of a hill. But maybe up here in the front, we'll pour like a concrete beam that this will sit on. It might even be a pad with a trench underneath it, kind of like a little foundation, 3-4 feet wide, so this entire end with the deck sort of settles into that perfectly flat slab. We can anchor it to it, and then it won't rock around anywhere because that'll be a foundation in the ground. Whatever happens out there, it won't be able to twist, it won't be able to move. I think that's the plan we're gonna go with. But anyways, the next time I see you guys, we're gonna start getting some walls laid out. If you saw the trailer we have outside, it's already got the lumber on it. Gavin and I are gonna clean up here, probably get all that stuff staged. And like I say, the next time we're together, we'll start standing up some walls. Should start to look like a cabin. Thanks for watching, guys.